This is a catapult and this is a trebuchet. Let me explain. A catapult has two basic parts, the base and the arm, and with elastic energy, it takes whatever is on the end of the arm and launches it a very long distance, and also makes my catapult explode for some reason. A trebuchet, on the other hand, is a lot more powerful, but just a little bit more complex. Instead of just taking an object and throwing it into the air, a trebuchet will swing the object out from under it and fling it an extremely far distance. But hold on, because I have to show you guys how I made this. So I cleared an area at the end of the room and built a giant tower for me to try to hit with the trebuchet. Speaking of which, I now had to build. First, I cleared the scene of all the junk I left there previously, and then I stacked a bunch of platforms to make a strong but tall base. Then I secured it all to the ground because I didn't want it to move, and then I started building the arm. I had to put a metal baton on each side at one end, and you'll see why in a second. About a third away from the other end, I had to put a giant crossbeam for this thing to pivot on. The overall design was looking pretty good, but it was still missing a really important part. It still needed weight at the end, and that's why I put a giant metal crate there. Everything was going fine, but I had to get this giant cross on top of those two pillars. So I did what any logical human being would do, and I became the Iron Giant. Unfortunately, the thing was having a hard time staying in my hand, so after I finally got it on top of the structure, I found it might have been a little too tall. So I gave it some extra crates to stand up on, and just for added support, I put two taller ones on the sides. After fumbling with the stupid arm for yet another 26.5 years, I finally got it on top of the structure and recentered it with my ginormous avatar. I decided to add a little more weight to the end just to fling whatever I'm throwing a little further, and then I attached a ball to a crowbar which I stationed behind those two metal batons I mentioned earlier. And as a final touch, I added some enemies to the top of the tower to act as a target for test number 1. Clearly, I needed more weight at the end. So I put everything back into position, and with a grand total of 4 crates to act as weight, a dying will to live, and a little bit of luck, this happened. This made me super happy. I don't even care if it knocked down the tower or not. I had just spent the past 3.5 days designing this thing, and finally it launched something a significant distance. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. This has been Justin from Alternate Reality, signing off for now. See ya.